If not, then please tell them to, or either I have to tell them. You tell me what do you need, but finish that topic. That is what I am trying to say. Yes, Afra, please speak.
Sir, are we going to be doing miscellaneous exercise of conic sections?
Yes. You tell me whether it's whether it's in your syllabus or not.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, good. So other if the word problems are included in the syllabus, then we'll solve it.
Okay, sir.
We can start with any of the chapters. So I'll just with stats or you guys have to tell me something to complete first. Yeah, let's understand. The first question. Okay. Miscellaneous exercise, come on page number 264. Start with first question of miscellaneous exercise. If a parabolic reflector is 20 centimeter in diameter and 5 centimeter deep, find the focus. Right. So, first of all, you need to understand, right? What is how is the figure? What do you understand by parabolic reflector? It's a reflector form in the parabola. Right? So it's a form of the parabola only. You can either take the right-handed parabola, left-handed parabola, upper parabola, or upward parabola, or downward parabola. Right? But just take it with your convenience. Right? Understand the process. So it's 20 centimeter in diameter and 5 centimeter deep. So what does that mean? What is parabolic diameter? And what does that mean by deepness of parabola? Okay, so we don't have any diameter of a parabola. We do understand. So let's say this is a rightward parabola. This is kind of like something like this. Okay. So we know there is no diameter of parabola. I mean, this height keeps changing everywhere. So if they're giving us parabolic diameter, it means that they're giving a certain instance to us, in which case the parabolic diameter is 20 and the height is 5. So basically it is given to us. Let's understand what is given to us. That this length, that this length is 20 and this length is 5. And this is given this. This whole length is 20 and this length is 5. So if you take this equation as, what is the equation of the right-handed parabola?
Y square is equal to 4ax.
The only meaning it can have is that this should be an upward parabola because 5 centimeter deep is given. So this should be an upward parabola. Let's find out the focus through y square is equals to 4x. It can also be possible that it's an upward parabola. I think it should be that only. Let's find out the focus in this case, then we'll check. Then we'll first check the answer. Y square is equals to 4x would be how much? So in that case, what is the coordinate of this point? Can you tell me that? What is the coordinate of this point? If this is a rightward parabola, let's solve it for a rightward parabola.
5, 10.
5, 10. Okay, correct. 5, 10. This would be 5, minus 10. Right? That is how the distance is 20. This is 5. So in that case, we have to, this parabola should satisfy 5, 10, and this should be y square would be 100 is equals to 4 into a into x would be 5. So a would be 5. Hence the focus should be 5 units from the center, vertex or center of the parabola, or can also be expressed as 5, 0. So just check for the answer first. पहले इधर check कर लेते हैं 5, 0 ये क्या check करो.
Yes, sir. It's at the midpoint of the diameter.
Midpoint of the diameter. In our case, in the form of a parabola with its axis vertical. Like in second question, it's already given that the axis is vertical.
Sir, for this first question, the parabola can be like x square is equal to 4ay. Like it can be different as well, right?
Yes, if that is also happening, in that case also we get a as 5.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, no, let's understand the process as well, because if this is 5 from, I mean, if this is upward parabola, then parabolic diameter would be this, and this would be the deepness of the parabola, right? So this would
Yes.
be 5, and this would be 10, 10. So if you take this point would be 10, 5, right? Right, Sabha? And
Yes.
this would be x square is equals to 4ay. So if you put these points, you'll get a as 5 only. So we can also say what the new observation is. We can also say that the latest rectum is the parabolic diameter only. No? This is the latest rectum only. Passing through focus perpendicular to the axis. So they are just defining the latest rectum as parabolic diameter. Similarly, we can solve the second question as well. Okay, third is important. You कुछ past year papers में already आया हुआ है. Third question: the cable of a uniformly loaded suspension bridge hangs in the form of parabola. The roadway, which is horizontal and 100-meter long, is supported by vertical. Okay, let's understand the figure first. So there's a cable involved, which is in the shape of a parabola of a uniformly loaded suspension bridge. So these are terms related in physics, actually mechanics. Uniformly loaded suspension bridge hangs in the form of a parabola. The roadway, which is horizontal and 100-meter long, is supported by okay, so how the figure is, that is very important in the question. How the figure is defined. So there is a roadway which is 100-meter long. This is a cable of a uniformly loaded suspension bridge, hangs in the form of a parabola. The roadway, which is horizontal, so there is a roadway involved, which is horizontal. Let's take the roadway like this, and which is horizontal and 100-meter long. Length is 100 meter. Is supported by this is supported by vertical wires attached to the cable. Right. So there's a cable which is in the form of parabola. This can be like this, or either this can be like this, or this can be like this, or this can be like this. So obviously these two won't be the case, because in that case these will be intersecting. We have to hang the parabola using this. So either this has to be the case, or this has to be the case. But this is, I mean, not natural case. The cable is I mean, the cable is hanging, right? So this has to be the case. Cable is hanging like this in the shape of a parabola, right? And cable is also supporting this roadway through vertical wires. So either this can be, so either this is like this, or this is like this, which is actually supported by the roadway, and the longest wire being 30 meter and the shortest being 6 meter. Shortest wire is 6 meter and the longest wire is 30 meter. So this is, let's say, the shortest wire. So this is 6 meter. And longest is 30 meter. Find the, and this is 100 meter. And we need to find out what now. Find the length of a supporting wire attached. Find the length of a supporting wire attached to the roadway 18 meter from the middle. 18 meter from the middle. So let's say if that is the point of middle, because the shortest distance will be here only. So if I keep moving from this point to this point 18 meter further, what is the length L? This is given if you keep on moving from the middle. So what is the length L which is required to support this? Find the length of a supporting wire attached to the roadway 18 meter from the middle. This can be either this or this, but obviously the figure is symmetric, so L has to be the same both sides. So it's 18. But L would be same, right? Now, how do we solve this? To find out the equation, you need some points on the parabola. Do you understand that? Find out the equation of parabola. And to understand, you need to find out a point on the parabola and the type of parabola. Now, the type of parabola is given upward. So the equation would be how? x square is equals to 4ay.
Four.
You need to find out a point. Yeah, Safa. You need to find out this point, Safa. This is important, critical step in the solving. And some of the data is given to you. So apply that data and find out this point P. Can you tell me this point P where this highest 30 meter is there? Let's call this point as P, which is 30 meter. Can you find out this P? Q is 30 meter. Oh, sorry, I mean P is height of the P is 30 meter, right? And from this point, 6 meter to 30 meter, this horizontal distance is 50. Okay, first of all, how are you considering this parabola? तो मैं कंसिडर कर रहा हूँ कि ये हमारा वर्टेक्स यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ही हम पैराबोला को कुछ ऐसा मान रहे हैं दिस इज द वर्टेक्स राइट जहाँ पे शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस है और वर्टेक्स है 0,0 तो ऑब्वियसली हमें ये पॉइंट निकालना है पी अब तो ये 6 मीटर तो खत्म ही हो गया बचा 24 राइट 24 the height of this is 24 and this distance is 50 so this is 50 24 ये पॉइंट लाई करता है हमारी इस पैराबोला if you put 50,24 in the equation you will get some value for a guys ये समझ आया I mean this point is would be 50,24 हमें वो अप्लाई करना है जो हमें चाहिए हम ये क्यों निकाल लेंगे मतलब हम ये लेंथ L निकाल लेंगे मैं ये कह रहा हूँ बट हम अपने तरीके से निकालेंगे वो अपनी इक्वेशन को सिंप्लीफाइड फॉर्म में ही रखेंगे सो द सेंटर ऑफ द पैराबोला इज ऑलवेज 0,0 वर्टेक्स हमेशा 0,0 है तो वो वही रखेंगे और उसके हिसाब से ये 50,24 बनेगा क्योंकि 6 मीटर खत्म हो जाएगा राइट लेट्स टेक दिस एज डायरेक्ट्रिक्स तो ये जो यहाँ से हमारे पास 2500 इज इक्वल्स टू 24 into 4 96 into a तो a की वैल्यू बहुत ही खराब वैल्यू है जो कि आई गेस so this would be 625 divided by 20 okay? That would be the maximum simplification of this yeah so यहाँ से अगर मैं Q पॉइंट निकालूंगा Q पॉइंट क्या होगा फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो Q पॉइंट होगा 18 मीटर तो यहाँ से डिस्टेंस है हाँ Q पॉइंट बताओ कोई यस
18,1 like
18,1 right and that one it can be defined in the form of L as
L minus no 1
yeah.
minute
Yeah, L minus 6 no
L minus 6
yeah the total length is L we have reduced the 6 so you are just giving this L minus 6 so this should be L minus 6 18 from L minus 6 that point should lie in this hence this should be 18 square which is 324 is equals to 4 into a 625 divided by 24 into L minus 6 so, this is difficult to calculate this cannot simplify so L 6 plus something like 9 point something. What's the answer?
Sorry, the number is quite big, right?
Which number? This would be 9 point something.
Yeah,
is
like
the
we should
answer.
find it in decimal, right?
Yeah, no, you just need to confirm me the answer. What's the correct answer? From the book.
So like from the book, yeah.
I mean, you need not to solve this to the decimal point. I mean, in exam you will need to, but now not.
9.11 meter approx.
Correct. Correct. Good. Okay, let's solve. Fifth one. A road of length 12 centimeter, right, moves with its ends always touching the coordinate axis. Determine the equation of the locus of a point P on the road, which is 3 centimeter from the end in the contact with the x-axis. 3 centimeter. Okay. So, अगर कोई नोट कर रहे हैं तो बता दें उनको, just raise your hand. Okay, so it's given that a road is moving. Road की length है 12 centimeter. Length of the road is 12 centimeter. Let's call this road as L. हमें क्या बताना है? हमेशा इसके एक्स एक्सिस और वाई एक्सिस से टच होता रहेगा, मूव कर रही है, मतलब इसकी कोई सेकंड लोकेशन भी होगी. So let's say थोड़ी देर बाद ये यहाँ पे आ जाएगी. ठीक है, लेंथ एल ही रहेगी, ये 12 सेंटीमीटर तक लाइन एल ये. So this is somehow like that. And determine the equation of the locus of a point P on the road. So let's say that there is a point P. So this situation, let's call this point as P. In the first situation, let's call this point as P. In the second situation, let's call this point as the point P. So what is the condition for P? So P is a point on the road which is 3 centimeter from the end in contact with x-axis. So जो भी point x-axis के साथ contact में है, यानी कि ये end point जो कि contact में x-axis के साथ, उसके साथ P का distance 3 है. यहाँ भी ये 3 होगा, यहाँ भी ये 3 होगा. Let's call this point as Q. Right? अब आपको इस P पॉइंट का लोकस बताना है. तो पहले तो ये बात समझिए कि लोकस क्या होता है. लोकस yes. Okay. So in first case,
Q is equal to 3 centimeter, right?
Q is 3 centimeter. PQ is 3 centimeter. Yeah, correct. In both the cases, PQ is 3 centimeter. So let's consider first case. So first of all, what does we mean by locus of a point? So locus of a point से हम ये बताना चाहते हैं कि ये जो P point है, if you keep changing this stick, ये stick तो देखो infinite positions ले सकती है. अभी और थोड़ा ऐसे इसको शिफ्ट करते जाओ राइट हैंड साइड टुवर्ड्स राइट हैंड साइड और टुवर्ड्स अपवर्ड्स, तो भी ये बहुत सारी शेप लेगी. तो ये पी पॉइंट कहीं ना कहीं सिचुएटेड होगा. जैसे देखो यहीं पे दो सिनारियोज में ये पी पॉइंट डिफर कर रहा है, राइट. Hence, there are infinite scenarios, and this P point will occur in infinite sequences. So whatever those sequences are, what is the path that P is covering in every of that sequence? That is the locus of P. The locus of P, locus of any point means कि हम उस पॉइंट का पाथ कवर करना चाहते हैं डिफरेंट सिनेरियोज। सबसे पहले ये समझ लो। अब वो पाथ कैसे कवर करेंगे? पाथ कवर करेंगे उसकी कंडीशन से, कोई ना कोई कंडीशन वो हमेशा फुलफिल करेगा।
Sir, I didn't understand what locus means. Locus of
Locus of a point is the, let's say, अभी यहाँ पे हमें एक एक्सपेरिमेंट दिया गया सफा। इन दिस केस दिस स्टिक इज मूविंग, और मूव ऐसे कर रही है कि स्टिक की लेंथ दी हुई है 12 है, और स्टिक मूव ऐसे कर रही है कि every time stick moves, these both of these end points are on the axis. तो हम इस स्टिक को बहुत सारे सिनेरियोज में मूव कर सकते हैं, राइट?
Yes.
In all of these scenarios, वो हमसे बोल रहे हैं there is a point P. Now what is the point P? The point P has distance from end point which is touching on x-axis 3, right? तो इतने सारे जो पॉसिबल सिनेरियोज हैं, उन सारे पॉसिबल सिनेरियोज में पी की कोई हर बार कोई ना कोई डिफरेंट लोकेशन होगी। Am I correct?
Yeah.
अब वो जो सारी डिफरेंट लोकेशंस होंगी, अगर आप उनको ऐड करते हुए पाथ बनाओगे, फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स जस्ट कंसीडर दिस पोजीशन। जैसे ये यहाँ पे होगा, ऐसे ही एकदम इससे एकदम जैसे ये यहाँ पे आया होगा, थोड़ा सा नीचे आया, इससे थोड़ा सा नीचे आती है पी की जो लोकेशन है वो थोड़ा सा ही चेंज हुई सफा, राइट? So
Yes.
if I join all of these points, this P will cover a path in all the different scenarios. हर डिफरेंट सिनेरियो में एक अलग लोकेशन होगी पी की। अगर मैं इन सारे पॉइंट्स को ऐड कर दूं, इन सारे पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन कर दूं, तो देयर विल बी अ पाथ कर्व्ड फॉर पी। Am I correct?
Yes.
That path is the locus of this point P. हम ये बताना चाहते हैं when we say find out the locus of a point, it means that we want to find out the path of this point. And to find out the path of any point, we need to find out a fixed condition for that thing. जैसे कि इस केस में फिक्स्ड कंडीशन क्या है कि हमेशा पी का डिस्टेंस क्यू से 3 सेंटीमीटर है। ये फिक्स्ड कंडीशन, इस फिक्स्ड कंडीशन का यूज करते हुए I'll solve the equation. I'll find out the equation for P point. Right? So let's say this point P is h, k. हमेशा जब भी लोकस का क्वेश्चन हो, तो आप सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन यहाँ से शुरू करो। In first scenario, h, k है अगर ये पॉइंट, तो can you tell me this r, PR, length of PR? What is the length of PR in the first scenario? In the first scenario मानी ये वाला length. PR length would be k, no? ये coordinate axis से तो PR का length is equals to y coordinate. So PR would be k. And what is the distance between this r की? Now RQ distance थोड़ा सा हमें समझना पड़ेगा। RQ distance को समझने के लिए let's first talk about, तो हम particular scenarios पास करते चलते हैं। सबसे पहले first scenario की बात करते हैं। Let's take this first scenario. So this was what? सबसे पहले हमारे पास एक रोड था जो कि 12 सेंटीमीटर था। Let's call this as A. Let's call this as B. ठीक है। So this point would be a square plus b square is equals to 12 square. एक इक्वेशन तो हमारे पास ही है। This point can be called as b, 0, and this can be called as 0, a. Now this is b का और 12 का भी हम एक रिलेशन निकाल सकते हैं with the help of angle theta. With the help of angle theta. Right? So this point is P somewhere. Let's take this coordinate as h, k. So अगर b का हम थीटा के फॉर्म में निकालें, तो this would be what? Cos theta would be base by hypotenuse b by 12, and sin theta would be a by 12. My bad. Cos theta would be base by 12. And sin theta would be a by 12. Hence, B is 12 cos theta. And A is 12 sin theta. Okay? Now, if you talk about this point P, the distance is 3. Now the angle is C, theta. Hence this h comma k can also be written in the form of this is k, let's say. So k by 3 is equals to sin theta again. Right? K by 3 is equals to sin theta. Hence k is 3 sin theta. Or sin theta is equals to k by 3. And again, cos theta is equals to what? Cos theta is equals to this length. So first of all, this whole length is b, and this length from origin to point, this whatever this point is q. This length is h. This should be b minus h divided by 3. And b is 12 cos theta minus h. Hence divided by 3. Hence you can solve it as 3 cos theta. H can be taken as 9 cos theta. Now you know sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So that situation was just to make you understand what are these two cases. We can solve the question through just one situation only. मैं तो बस ये दिखाना चाहता था कि what is the purpose of locus? Locus क्या करता है? Locus बताना चाहता है
How
पूरा
is
path.
h 9 cos theta?
This would be 3 cos theta, right?
Oh, okay, understand.
So एक ही इसके थ्रू इक्वेशन के थ्रू हमारा जो लोकस है वो निकल जाएगा ना, तो लोकस के लिए हम sin स्क्वायर थीटा प्लस cos स्क्वायर थीटा इक्वल्स टू 1 यूज कर सकते हैं. तो sin थीटा की वैल्यू है k by 3. From here you can see that sin theta is k by 3. So k by 3 whole square plus h by 9 whole square has to be 1. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1 होता है. So using that we can say that k by 3 whole square plus h by 9 whole square is equals to 1. So that will be k square by 9 plus h square by 81 divided by 1. You can replace h and k with x and y. So this is an equation of ellipse. If you notice it, this is a vertical ellipse with minor axis and major axis as 6 and 18. Guys, did you understand the question? Please feel free to ask your doubts. फहद बहुत दिन बाद आ रहे क्लास यार. Why?
सर एग्जाम्स चल रहे थे.
कैसे हुए? मैथ्स का हो गया?
अरे
ओके यार, 7th करो एक बार सभी लोग. इसको नोट करने के बाद 7th क्वेश्चन ट्राई करो सब. 6th क्वेश्चन सभी लोग ट्राई करो. टेल मी द आंसर. वही तो सॉल्व करो, बताओ आंसर. थोड़ा मेथड के कैसे सॉल्व. Okay, to find out the equation, to find out the area of the triangle, what do you need? Let's go through the process. To find out the area of a triangle, what do you need? It's a very simple question.
Base and height of the triangle.
Either base and height of the triangle or coordinates of the triangle, right? Or all the sides of the triangle. Either of these things. Now, in this case, a parabola is given, and they're talking about the endpoints of latest rectum. Now, we can always draw a parabola and find out the latest rectum because we know how to solve the length of latest rectum. Latest rectum would be a perpendicular line which is passing through the focus perpendicular to the axis. A line which is perpendicular to the axis and passing through focus. So we know what is the midpoint. I mean, what is the x-coordinate of these points? Let's call these points as P and Q.
X squared is equal to 12y. So wouldn't be like x squared is equal to 4ay and the parabola is in.
Correct.
What?
So what would the x-coordinate of P?
Sir, over here, can we give the parabola like upward?
Oh, wait, sorry. But the figure would be same, no? Similar. I mean, the only thing that would change here is the orientation of the figure. Figure would be quite similar. So this is a x square is equal to 12 figure, upward parabola, and we have focus as 0,3. X square is equals to 12, hence a is 3. So the focus has to be here somewhere in this is 0,3. And if we talk about this line, this is latest rectum. And if we join it with the vertex, then the required triangle, this triangle is the required triangle. This is O and it's called as PQ. Right? So we know the y coordinate of all these points. P and Q, the y coordinate has to be 3. Now this length is 2b square by a. What was the length of latest rectum of parabola? 2b square by a was for ellipse and hyperbola. What was the length of latest rectum? Guys, anyone? What was the length of latest rectum for a parabola? It was pretty simple.
4
4a, right? So if you find out the latest rectum for a parabola, the length is 4, and so this should be divided as 2a into 2. This would be 12, hence these coordinates is 6.3 minus 6.3. So we know the length is, now we can find out the area of triangle directly. Yes, Safa?
Sir, how could we say that the point Q, the y, like x comma y is 3?
Because latest rectum is passing through the focus and it is perpendicular to the axis. That means that P and Q has to be symmetric because the parabola is symmetric. And this latest rectum has to pass through focus. That is why all of these height has to be seen.
Sorry? The
Latest rectum is passing through focus.
Yeah.
Latest rectum, if latest rectum is passing through focus and perpendicular to axis, then this has to be 3. Because they both
okay.
have, all of them have to get the same height. Right?
Yeah.
So area of triangle OPQ can be calculated as half into base into height. Or rather we can write it as half into PQ into OF. So PQ is 12, OF is 3, hence this has to be 18 centimeters square. That's the unit. Okay, we'll just discuss the concept of 7. I will not solve question number 7. क्योंकि ये तुम खुद से solve करना है. But
Sir,
again
but
now,
we need to find the coordinates of P and Q. Like, if we consider triangle POQ, we know that height will be 3 meters because A is 3 and we can just justify it. Similarly, the length of the lattice rectum is 12. So
yes.
why did we need to find the coordinates of P and Q?
We don't need to find the coordinates of P and Q. We can find out the area using the coordinates as well. But I just showed you like this is a different concept involved as well. That you have to find out the coordinates of lattice rectum. So for that purpose, I just told you that you can find out the latest coordinates of lattice rectum in this way.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's talk about question number 7. And I'll not solve it, I mean properly, but I want to understand the question. क्या तुम्हें समझ आ रहा है कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है, क्वेश्चन का लॉजिक क्या है, और उस लॉजिक के बेसिस पे कैन यू टेल मी सम ऑफ द डिडक्शंस. A man running a race course पे run कर रहा man notes that the sum of the distances from the two flag posts from him is always 10 meter. 2 flag post हैं और अगर वो मैन किसी भी पॉइंट पर इस कोर्स के खड़ा होता है और वहां से उन दोनों फ्लैग पोस्ट के डिस्टेंस का सम निकालता है तो वो ऑलवेज 10 आ रहा है. एंड द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द फ्लैग पोस्ट इज 8 मीटर. फाइंड द इक्वेशन ऑफ द पोस्ट्स traced by the man. Find the equation of the posts traced by them. Basically, equation of the race course की बात कर रहे हैं. Yes, so can you tell me some of the deductions using first 2 lines? We have talked about this concept. Okay, Safa, will you tell me what is a parabola? How do you define a parabola? Fahad, Maz, Tarif, anyone? How do you define a parabola? What is a parabola?
Parabola is like a set of points, right?
Yes.
Points which is equidistant to the directrix.
Yeah, directrix. Or rather a fixed line, which is at a equal distance from a fixed line and from a fixed point. No, this fixed point is focus and fixed line is directrix. तो जितने भी points इस parabola पे lie कर रहे हैं, let's say this point, तो इसका distance यहाँ से, तो इसका distance यहाँ से, इक्वल हो, ये बोल रहे हैं. Similarly, what was ellipse? Safar, can you define what is an ellipse?
Ellipse is also like set of all points.
Yes.
But the distance between the sum of distance between 2 points is same, like constant.
I mean, you take any point on the ellipse, right? And you find out the distance from that point to the two foci. And if you take that sum would always be constant for every point. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So now spot the situation here in question number 7. It's given to you in the same way that if you take any point on the race course and you take these two flag posts and you find out this distance between the flag post and the point and you take the sum, it's always 10 meters. It's always 10 meters. No? So it has to be an ellipse. And it's also given that the distance between two flag posts is 8. So figure would be something like this. We can easily find this out. Foci is given. The only thing which is not given is whether the ellipse is horizontal or vertical. Okay, this has to be horizontal. So this would be something like this. And distance. So let's take this as F1, take this as F2, this point P on race course as P. So PF1 plus PF2 is 10 meter, right? And the distance between two flag posts is F1, F2, which is 8. So you know the coordinates of F1, it is 4, 0, and coordinate of F2 is minus 4, 0. You know PF1 plus PF2 is 10 meter, which is equal to 2a. So you know the coordinates of this A, 5, 0, and also for B, minus 5, 0. अब तुम बहुत इजीली तुम्हारे पास C है, A है, B भी फाइंड आउट कर सकते हो and you can find out the equation of the ellipse. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's try to solve question number 8, which is the last question of the exercise, and give me 1 minute. You have 2 minutes, in fact, and try to solve question number 8. Tharif, we need to solve question number 8. Question number 8. Equation equilateral triangle inside the parabola is given. Did you get the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, anyone is able to solve the question. This is an equilateral triangle is inscribed in the parabola y square is equals to 4x, where one vertex is at the vertex of the parabola and the length of the side of the triangle. So y square is equals to 4x would be something like this. Now this is an equilateral triangle, and one point is vertex. So this has to be with the symmetry. There should be a triangle like this. Sorry, my word, not like this. It should be something like that, similar. Okay. This is 0, comma 0. Okay. And parabola is given y square is equals to 4ax. That is how you can relate x and y with each other. And let's call the length of now you have to find out the length of this equilateral triangle. Let's call this length as L. So this length is L. This has to be this coordinate. This should be L by 2, L by 2 by symmetry. Right? So L by 2, L by 2, honey.
Length
Yes.
won't to 4a. PQ won't be equal to 4a.
It should be, but we cannot directly say that because we
can't?
haven't. I mean, we can't directly say that Safa for now because we haven't proved it that the equilateral triangle is formed by lattice rectangle. We can't directly say this. For now, we have to take this as L. And using that L, we have to find out the coordinates of P in the form of A. So this L, I mean, we have to find out a relation between L and A. So this point P, this distance would be L by 2, half distance, and this half distance will be, let's call this point as R. तो PR होगा हमारे पास कितना L by 2 और R can be L by 2. तो P का हमें Y coordinate तो पता है. Now let's talk about X coordinate. X coordinate would be OR. OR. Now OR कितना? OR होगा L by 2. L by 2 plus L. I mean, OR को हम OR is a perpendicular line. So we can find out OR using Pythagoras because we know PR and we know OP. So for this OPR, OR square plus PR square is equals to OP square. Hence OR square can be written as OP square, which is L square minus L by 2 whole square, which is L square by 4. So OR square is 3L square by 4. Hence OR has to be root 3 L by 2. So you can find out this P coordinate as root 3 L by 2 common L by 2. And this P point is lying on the parabola. It implies that y square, which is L square by 4, is equals to 4 into A into root 3 L by 2. That cancels out 1 L. So it becomes L is 8 root 3. Now see, this L is not equal to 4 L. L is equal to 8 root 3 L. So only after checking we can say what type of equilateral triangle this is. Now just check the answer once, whether what we got is correct or not. Yeah. Can you tell me confirm me the answer for question number 8, miscellaneous exercise? Anyone?
So it's 8 root 3.
8 root 3 or root 3?
8 root 3. Your answer
Yeah.
is correct.
Good. Okay. So we have covered all chapters, barring these 2 chapters now. Can I proceed? Did you guys understand conic sections first of all? Do you have some problems to ask? And did you guys understand the conic sections? Because we have almost covered every topic of it. Is that a yes or no? You can also give me. Yes, Safa? I am not able to listen to you. Please.
Yes, sir. It's yeah.
Okay, okay. So we have these 2 chapters now. First one is statistics, and second one is probability. तो यार मैं अभी पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ, I'm also doing my MTech, और उसके दोनों यही subjects हैं, stats and probability. MTech and stats and probability basically. So these 2 are very important subjects in my post graduation. तो हम लोग काफी बात कर सकते हैं stats probability पे तो, but so you guys tell me first of all, what do you need to start with? Let's make a count. How many first stats? Just raise your hand. How many first stats? How many? First of all, how many first stats? Okay, and two people, 2 persons for the interview. And how many for probability? So Mars won't take part in the voting process.
Sir,
Oh, what?
probability. I don't know why I can't raise my hand.
Okay, okay, cool. Then we'll start with probability. Okay. Now, before starting probability, यार मैं तुम्हें थोड़ा सा idea देना चाहूँगा probability और stats का. Like, what's the use? Or क्यों? In fact, I would like to tell you why am I even doing masters in these 2 subjects. Not exactly these 2 subjects, but the focus will be on these 2 subjects only. And studying with them. मैंने मतलब first sem में भी stats पढ़ा, second sem में भी stats पढ़े, third sem में भी stats से related subjects पढ़ूंगे. So there's a lot of focus going on stats and probability right now. And why is this happening? Because we have a lot of data, first of all. So everything is अभी तो, if you remember, have you guys heard about ChatGPT?
Sorry.
ChatGPT. Have you guys heard about this term?
Yes, sir. It uses AI for typing essays and all.
Yeah. So it is an AI platform basically, so which provides you with a lot of information. So consider this. Now we're actually moving towards artificial intelligence, AI. So consider this, that we have a lot of data. Consider scenarios. Now we can always make a lot of decisions based on the data provided to us. So when we have a lot of data, we are using this data with the help of statistics and probability for some conclusions. And for that, we need to use a lot of methods in statistics and probability. But for now, we have two very simple basic probability. I mean, 2 very basic simple chapters, not those parts. बट हमें जरूरत इसकी इसलिए क्योंकि डेटा बहुत ज्यादा हो चुका है और डेटा की हेल्प से जितनी भी इन्फेरेंस, जितने भी आंसर्स डेटा हमें दे सकता है, वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट दोस आंसर्स। और डेटा बहुत सारा तुम्हें नॉलेज दे सकता है। बिफोर दिस आई वांट टू टेल यू कि डेटा तुम्हें बहुत सारा ऑलरेडी इंफॉर्मेशन देगा, इन्फेरेंस देगा, यू जस्ट हैव टू फाइंड दैट आउट। दैट इज व्हाई यू नीड अ लॉट ऑफ मेथड्स एंड different techniques to use that data, right? Now if we talk about probability in class 11, तो सबसे पहले तो हम probability के structure के बारे में बात करते हैं। यार ये सबसे पहले स्टार्ट हुआ था 7th क्लास से, probability हमें पढ़ाना 7 से 6th क्लास से, और 6th 7th 8th 9th 10th फिर 11th फिर 12th, और उसके बाद ग्रेजुएशन भी में भी probability आप पढ़ोगे अगर आपके पास मैथ्स होगा तो, और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन तक भी चलता है और बहुत कुछ पढ़ सकते हैं probability में। तो probability is a very vast chapter. अब vast कैसे होता है? That basic definition, how can it be a very large subject, starts from class 11. अभी तक आपने क्या सीखा? सबसे पहले इस पे बात करते हैं। So you know probability क्या है? The chances of happening a event. The chances of happening a event. बहुत ही सिंपल, अगर मैं आपको इसे बिल्कुल देसी भाषा में समझाऊं, व्हाट इज देसी लैंग्वेज कि क्या, व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी। तो लेट्स से कल एक मैच है, ठीक है, कल एक मैच है, तो व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट द मैच इज कंडक्टेड। या लेट्स से और भी एक बहुत बेसिक एग्जांपल, यू आर टॉसिंग अ कॉइन, यू आर टॉसिंग अ कॉइन। मैं जानना चाहता हूं दैट इफ यू टॉस अ कॉइन, व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट अ हेड विल कम। मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ बहुत ही सिंपल वर्ड्स में कि नेक्स्ट टॉस पे हेड आएगा, क्या मैं इस चीज को क्वांटिफाई कर सकता हूँ? कैन आई क्वांटिफाई दिस? कैन आई क्वांटिफाई द अमाउंट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस दैट द नेक्स्ट टर्न, द नेक्स्ट टॉस इज हेड? वो अमाउंट को मैं क्वांटिफाई कर सकता हूँ क्या? वो मेरा कितना कॉन्फिडेंस से मैं ये बात बोल सकता हूँ that the next toss will give me head? That is basically probability. The probability is numerical value to the chances of happening. किसी भी इवेंट का होने का न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू क्या है? ऑन ए स्केल ऑफ 1, ऑन ए स्केल ऑफ 0 to 1, ये स्केल है। अगर आप बोल रहे हो 0.5 तो 50-50% चांस है। इफ यू आर saying the probability of happening this is 0.7, that means 70% चांस है। That means इवेंट के होने के ज्यादा चांसेस है, ना होने के कम चांसेस, 30% चांसेस इन दैट इवेंट नहीं होगा, right? So that is the basic understanding of probability. सबसे पहली चीज तो then अब हम probability निकालते कैसे? तो 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 सब क्लासेस में हमें यही सिखाया गया है, एक ही फॉर्मूला से। probability is equals to favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. Am I correct? यही फॉर्मूला है probability का, favorable by total. बट अभी थोड़ा अलग तरीके से स्टार्ट होना शुरू होगी चीजें। तो 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 सबका पूरा स्ट्रक्चर समझ लो। फेवरेबल आउटकम डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल आउटकम यही सिखाया गया था, और नंबर ऑफ आउटकम्स इंक्रीज करते गए। लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल 7th क्लास में कॉइन्स से इंट्रोड्यूस कराया, तो नंबर ऑफ टोटल आउटकम्स थे 2, या तो हेड या तो टेल। फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास में डाई से इंट्रोड्यूस करा दिया, डाई इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ तो नंबर ऑफ टोटल आउटकम्स हो गए 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6। फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास में व्हाट, कार्ड्स इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिए, जिससे कि टोटल आउटकम्स हो गए 52। आपके लिए नंबर ऑफ आउटकम्स हम इंक्रीज करते जा रहे थे फॉर इन एवरी क्लास, वो हम प्रोबेबिलिटी में आपको सिखा रहे थे बेसिकली। नाउ इन क्लास 11th you have studied about the subject permutation and combination. How many people can say that they know permutations and combinations? We have covered this chapter in the class. Please raise your hand. How many persons do remember the chapter? Okay, everybody else is not that confident about the chapter. Please read the basic formula used in permutation and combination. Why you will get that information later on. Why do you need PNC for the probability? Yeah, please. Okay, so permutation. Now we have taught you this chapter permutation and combination, in which what did we need? What did we study? We studied about the finding the number of ways for counting rather than counting. We learned about the counting, different ways of counting. तो यार जब हमने आपको काउंटिंग करना ही सिखा दिया तो टोटल आउटकम्स तो आप डिफरेंट सिनेरियोस में खुद से ही निकाल सकते हो, निकालो यूजिंग पीएनसी। तो नाउ प्रोबेबिलिटी के दो पार्ट्स चल रहे हैं। Probability will be divided into two parts. One part will be related to PNC, which is basically the extension of your previous knowledge. यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला लगेगा फेवरेबल डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल आउटकम्स, बार बार यही चलता रहेगा। आपको बस इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट होगा हाउ टू फाइंड आउट द टोटल नंबर ऑफ आउटकम्स and how to find out the favorable number of outcomes for the given question. That will be solved using PNC, permutation and combination. Right? और second part होगा for all of these questions. Second part होगा when you use set theory. तो पहली बात तो ये समझ लीजिए, प्रोबेबिलिटी में आप जो भी पढ़ेंगे वो नया पढ़ेंगे सेट थ्योरी, which is purely based on set, the first chapter, sets and relations. So to understand probability better, you need the command on these two chapters. कल क्लास में आने से पहले पीएनसी थोड़ा रिवाइज करके आना, थोड़ा पीएनसी और थोड़ा सेट थ्योरी। मैंने तुम्हें अगर याद हो तो 2 सेट थ्योरी 3 सेट थ्योरी पढ़ाई थी, तो वो थोड़ा रिवाइज करके आना दोनों चैप्टर्स। We need both of them.
Set theory, can you just the
Okay,
theory?
when there are two sets given A and B inside a universal set, then we need to identify what is A union B, number of
Oh,
elements in A.
okay, like this. Yeah, sorry. Understood.
So all of these form, this is set theory.
Yes,
And
sir.
this goes for 2 sets as can this can all this can be written as for 3 sets as well, right?
Yeah.
So we need to know all of these formulae. I will also brush up on all of them, right? But you everyone has to revise that as well. So understand these 2 chapters and you will be good to go in probability, because it is based on these 2 chapters only PNC and set theory. PNC along with favorable upon total wala formula. And set theory, जितना भी formula आपने set theory में पढ़ा है, every formula has same application in probability. You just have to replace n with b. तो वहां पे हम n लिखते थे number of elements in A union B. This n represents number of elements in A union B. Here, what we can do is we can use the same formula as probability of A union B is equals to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection. I'll show you tomorrow कैसे लिख सकते हैं इसको ऐसे. But every formula has the same application. So that is why you need to brush up on set theory and PNC. Right. And other than these two, we need to know about some technical terms related to probability. That I'll cover. Some of them I'll cover today only. Some of them just one. So let's talk about, some of them. Can I remove this? If someone is writing, just raise hand. Okay. So some of the technical terms if I talk about. So first is experiment. Just a minute. Think about it and be ready with your answer. Just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry. So let's talk about first thing, experiment. So in probability questions, we'll be doing an experiment. That is, we are carrying out some of the action. Carrying out action. Whatever action we are carrying out in the process, that is an experiment. Like, for example, tossing a coin. This is an experiment. We are tossing a coin, or we are throwing a die. Or if you remember, then Ohm's experiment, Ohm's law. Okay? There are scientific experiments as well. So many scientific experiments, etc. Right? So there are so many types of experiments in which basically we are carrying out some of the action. Now, experiment can be divided into two parts. First is deterministic experiment. We are not interested in this type of experiment though. Deterministic. Okay, deterministic experiments. And second is random experiments. This is the main focus of experiment in probability. Random experiment. The experiment must be random. We'll understand what is a random experiment and what is a deterministic experiment. So अब ऐसे समझते हैं random experiment और deterministic experiment. Let's say Ohm's law का experiment है. Ohm's law क्या है? V is equals to IR. Right? Now, for a given R and given V, we will have a given I. Right? For a given V, for a given I, you'll have a given R, or rather you can say that for a given V and given R, you will have a given I, which can be calculated as V by M. Right? तो अगर आप different अगर आप same V और same R के साथ I निकालना चाहोगे, let's say you took voltage as 10 and you took resistance as 2. So every time you calculate, you'll get I as 5. So deterministic experiments are those experiments in which the outcome is already fixed. With the help of inputs, you are just fixing your output. जैसे आपको input पता चलेगा, आपको output पता होगा. So if repeated under identical conditions, यानी कि ऐसे सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स जिनको अगर आप आइडेंटिकल कंडीशंस के अंदर रिपीट करोगे, दे विल प्रोड्यूस द सेम रिजल्ट. जितने भी साइंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट होते हैं, सब डिटरमिनिस्टिक होते हैं. तो अगर आप इन एक्सपेरिमेंट्स को रिपीट करोगे अंडर आइडेंटिकल कंडीशंस, फॉर एग्जांपल फॉर चेकिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ करंट, if you fix V and R as same for two different conditions, then you will get I same in both conditions. So they will produce the same result if repeated under identical conditions. These type of experiment are known as deterministic. Right? क्योंकि हमें already output पता है, already output fix हो जाता है. But random experiment, well, let's understand random experiment. Tossing a coin. Now, tossing a coin, आपको नहीं पता already कि head आएगा या tail आएगा. So the outcome is not fixed. The outcome is not known in advance. So if produced under identical, if repeated under identical conditions, अगर आप इस एक्सपेरिमेंट को रिपीट करोगे under identical conditions, they will produce the different result. एक बार हेड आएगा तो एक बार टेल भी आएगा. Provided the process is unbiased. मतलब सब कुछ फेयर हो जाए. आप जानबूझ के कुछ अपनी तरफ से नहीं, एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर कुछ ऐसा नहीं लगा रहे जिसकी वजह से आउटकम चेंज हो जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल टॉसिंग अ कॉइन. और हम इस चीज को ऐसे भी समझ सकते हैं, और द फाइनल आउटकम ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंट, कि आउटकम का फाइनल मतलब एक्सपेरिमेंट का फाइनल आउटकम क्या होगा, ये हमें पहले से नहीं पता होता. तो ऐसे सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट को हम रैंडम एक्सपेरिमेंट बोल सकते हैं. और अब एक दो और चीजें समझते हैं रैंडम एक्सपेरिमेंट के बारे में. जैसे टॉसिंग अ कॉइन. तो मैं कॉइन को टॉस कर रहा हूँ, तो लेट्स पॉसिबल आउटकम जो हो सकता है, या तो वो हेड हो सकता है या टेल हो सकता है, बट कौन सा आएगा आई डोंट नो. फॉर नाउ आई डोंट नो वेदर हेड विल कम or tail will come, but I do know what are the possible outcomes of the event. So in case of random experiment, you know all the possible outcomes, but you don't know the exact final outcome before the experiment is not happening. After the experiment is happening, तो तब तो पता चल ही जाएगा क्या फाइनल आउटकम है, बट पहले से नहीं पता होगा कुछ भी. अनसर्टेनिटी रहेगी, रैंडमनेस रहेगी. It can either be head or it can be tail. और throwing a die, ये तो बहुत ही ज्यादा यूज होगी. या फिर पिकिंग अप अ कार्ड, ये सब बहुत ज्यादा यूज होंगे. आउटकम क्या है? एक और क्वेश्चन आता है यहाँ पे. आउटकम है रिजल्ट ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंट. कैन आई रिमूव दिस? Okay. So two more things just. One is outcome. What is the outcome? Result of the experiment. जैसे कि आपने एक कॉइन टॉस करा, टॉसिंग अ कॉइन, पॉसिबल आउटकम्स आर हेड एंड टेल, यानी कि ये रिजल्ट हो सकते हैं. ये आउटकम्स, जो भी रिजल्ट होगा एक्सपेरिमेंट का वो एक आउटकम है. हेड इज आउटकम ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंट, टेल इज एन आउटकम ऑफ द एक्सपेरिमेंट, राइट? एंड लास्ट इज सैंपल स्पेस. दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड. सैंपल स्पेस. Sample space is set of all possible outcomes. Now I will ask you questions on this in the next class. Set of all possible outcomes for a random experiment. Very easy thing, but you have to be fundamentally correct. So set of all possible outcomes for a random experiment means आप कोई भी एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हो, जितने भी उसके पॉसिबल आउटकम्स हो सकते हैं, अगर आप उनका एक सेट बनाओगे तो वो सैंपल स्पेस बोला जाता है. एंड दिस सैंपल स्पेस का सेट इज डिनोटेड बाय एस. फॉर एग्जांपल आप एक एक्सपेरिमेंट करो, टॉसिंग अ कॉइन, तो इसका सैंपल स्पेस होगा एस. नो एस के अंदर क्या होगा, जो भी इसके पॉसिबल आउटकम्स हो सकते हैं. तो आपने एक कॉइन टॉस करा तो या तो हेड हो सकता है या तो टेल हो सकता है. ये इसका सैंपल स्पेस है. For example, throwing a dice. आपने डाइस थ्रो कर, तो क्या क्या आंसर आ सकता है? कैन यू टेल मी द सैंपल स्पेस ऑफ थ्रोइंग अ डाइस? आंसर क्या क्या आ सकता है, मतलब व्हाट आर द पॉसिबल आउटकम्स ऑफ थ्रोइंग अ डाइस?
You can get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct. If I form a set with all of these outcomes, this is known as the sample space for this random experiment. Right. So this is a very important one because sample space is basically the total number of outcomes. Tells the total number of outcomes. तो आप प्रोबेबिलिटी निकालना चाहते हो तो टोटल आउटकम्स चाहिए ना, तो वो टोटल नंबर ऑफ आउटकम्स कहाँ से मिलेंगे? सैंपल स्पेस से मिलेंगे। अगर आपको सैंपल स्पेस पता है तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ आउटकम्स पता है। ठीक है, चलिए फिर कंटिन्यू करते हैं कल इसके बाद, and just brush up on PNC and set theory before coming to the class. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.